I am Trista Lackey. I am representing the Fairhope Library. I am interviewing Carl Brown on Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 at the Fairhope Library. This interview is being conducted for the Fairhope Library's Veterans Oral History Collection. So I'd like to welcome you to the library, and I just want to start out just asking you some basic questions, like what's your full name?
Carl Edward Brown.
Okay. And your date of birth?
March 24th, 1953.
Okay.
Yeah. You.
And what was your branch of service?
Navy.
Oh, Navy.
Yeah.
And your highest rank attained?
I was a chief petty officer.
Okay. And were you in a war or a conflict?
Vietnam, 1972, 1973.
Oh, okay. And so can you tell us when you joined the military, and where were you when you joined the military?
Well, I was born, first off, I was born in Altimer, Arkansas, little farming town outside of Little Rock. I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. My mom took me there when I was 3 months old. And I graduated from high school, Oakland, California. I joined the Navy in Oakland, California. Took my first airplane flight in Oakland, California to boot camp. And I went to boot camp in San Diego. And I basically spent my whole Navy career up and down the West Coast, except a couple of times I came around to the East Coast, but predominantly it was all on the West Coast. And heck, got married, had kids, and just ran all over the world, and I'm ready to go again.
So after you joined, before you joined, did you have any jobs?
Yeah, well, you know, growing up in Oakland, of course, I'm telling you now, I grew up in the rough part of Oakland. I wouldn't go there now, but you know, we had summer jobs just like everybody else, and then when got out of high school, what made a lot of us join the military was the fact there were no jobs. See, and so you know, with all of this deal with the military and stuff, this stuff started back when we were in high school. I was actually there in Oakland back during the Vietnam War one day when they blew up a mailbox right outside of the processing center. I was there when they blew the front up off the ROTC building at UC Berkeley. I was up there that day because we were up there looking around, a bunch of us. So we saw that, and then being in Oakland, everybody that went to Vietnam came through Oakland. I even saw my own cousins go to Vietnam because they came through there. So we were, you know, being young, and we were like, you know, we thought that was the thing to do. And so when it came time we graduated, the ones that, you know, some of us, we even went to college. I went to college for 2 weeks.
Wow.
I sure did. I went to college for 2 weeks, but guess what? Like they said, you were living at home with your parents, you didn't have a job, you didn't have any money, and we didn't have any plans. So this was the thing to do. A lot of the guys went in the Army, and I just happened to be the one side to go in the Navy. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that's, you know, and personally, that was the best move I ever made in my life. Because right now, today, I still talk to some of my buddies. They still back in Oakland, still living in the same neighborhood, still doing the same thing.
And they never went to the military?
Never went. And I actually went back to Oakland, was a Navy recruiter in Oakland, and tried to recruit these guys.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh my God. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. And, never did. They just never did. And, most of them are deceased. Now the guys that I served with in the Navy, I still keep up with them. We're all old, all of us are old, but we still keep in touch and we visit each other and everything else.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yeah. It's a good, like I said, my thing is if you're a young man and you don't know what you want to do this. It's not gonna kill you. And look at what you get out of it. Even if you just going for 4 years, think about it. You come out while everybody else is scrambling looking for health care, you just go to the VA. All they want is a little bit of your time. And I tell anybody, the hardest part of this job is going through boot camp. Because once you get through boot camp, it's just like a regular old job. Except you just get to travel and do a lot of more stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you got to travel a lot.
I've seen places that most people only think about. That's why I tell a lot of folks, even our worst situations are better than what a lot of people got around the world. You just haven't seen it. You think you got it bad, so you don't know bad till you see what those folks are going through. I'm telling you, I went to, it was Surabaya, Indonesia. Beautiful city. But what they did was, every day, they go out, they collect all the garbage, bring it right back in the center of town, pile it up, and the people go out there and that's where they go get the food from. Like out here, we got those, I call them ditches. Well, what they do is, like when people would build like your little driveway across the ditch, well, these people live underneath there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I seen places where people take a bath in a 55-gallon drum.
Yeah, it puts things in perspective.
Mm-hmm. It's just like, have you ever looked at seen pictures of Hong Kong?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do you think about it?
Well, it's huge.
Mm-hmm. Remind you of San Francisco because it's on a hill. But you ever notice that you never ever see anything slums or messy areas? You never see them. You know why? Because all the poor people live up on the roofs of the high rises. Up there is actually another city. It's called the high rise. The rooftops of Hong Kong. They live up there. That's why you don't ever see them down below.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
So when you joined the military, how long was it before you went to Vietnam?
Well, let's see. I joined in September '71. I went to Vietnam October of '72. We came back in April of '73, and my next deployment was in 1981. And then after that, I deployed again in 1984.
Where were you? Where'd you go in 1981 and 1984?
We went to the Indian Ocean, and we patrolled the Indian Ocean. When I went in '81, I actually had to fly over and catch the ship. And so I had to I flew to Philippines. Then from the Philippines, I flew to Diego Garcia, which is this little coconut plantation that's 1,000 miles south of the tip of the Indian Ocean. Then had to take a helicopter, a plane from there to an aircraft carrier, and then from a helicopter, from a carrier to a ship. And a week later, I was back in Diego Garcia.
That was a lot.
But the thing about Diego Garcia, you can eat all the coconuts you want, and don't bother the wild donkeys, don't bother the coconut crabs, the wild cats, and don't climb no trees, because you will go to jail.
Oh.
They serious. Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah. And so
They're
that
serious
was
about it.
Yeah, and that was 81. Then 84 we deployed. We left San Diego, and we were supposed to be going on what we called a joy cruise, where we got to go everywhere. You know, we get over there, and since we were the only ship with anti-submarine warfare capabilities, somebody said, oh, we need a ship in the Indian Ocean. So guess who got to go? And so they took us back to the Philippines, put all the helicopters and all the gear on our ship, and sent us to the Indian Ocean. Well, we were going through the Malacca Straits, getting ready to go into the IO. It was 12 o'clock at night. I went down, I took the watch, walked out the control room, walked past the boiler, got a cup of coffee, walked back in the door, and the guy says, hey man, you smell something burning? I'm like, what? I look out the window, all I can see is white smoke. Open the door, the whole top of the boiler was on fire.
Oh my God.
The problem was, it's on fire and it's the only boiler online supplying power to the ship, so we can't shut it down. So we're out there trying to fight this fire.
Wow.
So
In the middle of nowhere.
in the middle of the Malacca Straits at midnight.
God. Wow, you have a lot of stories like that,
Oh,
probably.
I have got some stories for you. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. I've seen people do things you would not believe they would do. I'm kidding you not. I seen a guy jump off the flight deck of an aircraft carrier because he didn't want to go out to sea.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
He didn't kill himself. He jumped off the side of the ship, and the current just took him right on back up in the bay.
Wow. Okay. You probably never expected to see that.
No.
When you joined the Navy, how was boot camp for you?
Boot camp for us, it was a shock treatment. I can put it that way. It was a shock. Because when we got there, it was dark. Now, they put us on a bus. The Marines, they put them in a cattle car. Okay? So when you get to boot camp, like I said, boot camp is the hardest part because you're just doing a transition. And, you know, it's basically all the screaming, the hollering, the push-ups, the marching, and all of that. But they're trying to teach you to work as a team is what they're trying to teach you to do. But now some of the things now I said they're a little harsh, you know, like one guy spit on the ground. So the grinder was probably about 1,000 yards by 1,000 yards, where they can take the whole brigade, put them all out there together. Well, your toothbrush and a bucket and a bar of soap, that's a lot of ground to cover. That's the kind of stuff you went through.
They
You
made everyone do that?
No, just him.
Oh,
Just him.
man.
You're gonna clean the grinder.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
They had marching parties. We used to have marching parties where they take you over there and they would just drill you over and over and over for 4 straight hours. And we had a company commander. His thing was, you want to laugh at things, so you're a clown. So he said, since you want to be a clown, let me show you. Let me invite you into my clown locker. You would not believe how heavy this thing can get. An ink pen. Take an ink pen, put it just like this, and hold it like this for as long as you can. This pen will feel like it weighs 100 pounds. And you got somebody that's screaming at you, hold that pen.
Right, don't drop that.
Yeah. Now you want to laugh? Laugh.
Oh, man.
But no, boot camp, like I said, boot camp that's your roughest thing. It's transition. And like I said, compared to what they did those days to what they do now, it's a whole different world. It is, because they can't do, you can't do the things that we used to do. Because like when I was, well, kids nowadays, they're more inquisitive. They want to know why they have to do certain things. Well, our time was, you didn't ask questions. If I told you to go do this, you just went and did it. You didn't ask why, you just did what I told you to do. So it's, like I said, it's a big difference. Big difference. You know, I think another thing, I think we took a lot more pride in the Navy than they do today, because we did whatever it took. We didn't care whether it was legal or illegal. Whatever it took for this ship to get where it had to be and do what it had to do, we didn't care. We stole when we couldn't buy it. We would steal it. Wow. I'm kidding you not. We would literally go on the base and go in warehouses and steal parts, take them back to the ship, put them on there, let's go.
Wow.
You had to know how, you have to know, we call it com-shawing, but you had to know how to trade to get the things that you wanted. If I brought you a 20-pound can of coffee, you'd give me the valves that I needed, you'd give me this part, you'd make me a part. And if I brought you a case of steaks, you'd build me a ship. This is how you had to survive.
Yeah.
And that's how we survived.
Yeah. I can imagine, especially in conflict.
Yes, when you are in a war, because see, that's the thing. It's different than any other thing, because no matter what other branch of military you're in, you always have everything there. With us, when you're 15,000 miles out in the middle of the ocean and you break, you can't call somebody to come fix this. You got to fix this any kind of way you can.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty resilient then. You learned that.
You had to be. And the thing was, we taught our sailors. See, it's a big difference between today and then and now. You don't teach your sailors like we do. Something breaks, you call somebody. You call a civilian or whoever. We didn't do that. Even when we were at our home ports, we didn't call nobody to come here and work. We did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense that you would have to do
You
that.
had to. You had to. And shucks, duty, if you got to stand duty every 4 days, you were blessed. These guys now, they like, oh heck, I don't even live on the ship. I live on the base, and when the ship goes to sea, they move on the ship and they go to sea. We lived on that ship even when we were there.
Oh.
We lived there 24/7. That was our home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
When you came, like when you went to Vietnam, what type of job did you have there? What were you doing?
Well, you do exactly what you're trained to do, okay? I worked in engineering, so every day, 6 hours, well, we stood what we call 6 and 6, 6 hours on, 6 hours off. Well, I operated the boiler plant. The guys that operated the guns, they worked on them till they needed them. Everybody, it was just, that's what I'm saying, it's a job. You get up in the morning, you work, in the evenings you go to sleep, except for engineers. We worked 24/7 because we had to be up all night. And then the problem with us was when it broke, if it broke during your 6 hours that you were off, you had to spend your 6 hours fixing that.
So you didn't have any off time.
You didn't have no off time. Mm-mm. When everybody else was in port and they were out enjoying the places, we were there fixing the machinery. Yeah. Then when we had everything fixed, then we would get to go out and have fun and everything else. But we stood duty every other day, where these guys stood duty every 4 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, where did you end up going after you got to Vietnam? Were you?
Well, after we got back from Vietnam in '73, our next year and a half we spent testing the close-in weapon system, Phalanx weapon system. They're on all the ships. At that time, this thing was set up to shoot 3,000 rounds a minute. Now it shoots 6,000 rounds a minute. And when you go to pick up the ammo cans, they got stickers on them, radioactive.
Whoa.
Yeah, because we were using expended uranium for the bullets.
Oh.
Yeah, so I did that from 72, 73, 74, and then we took the ship to Norfolk, Virginia. Then eventually we took it to Mississippi and decommed it because they were going to upgrade it. So we left it there, and then I went to my next ship. But I was personally assigned to 6 different ships in my Navy career. My last 3 years, I was on the Admiral's staff. So I rode every ship in the fleet for the last 3 years because I was doing inspections. So I done rode them all. I rode them all.
So what type of ships were you on?
Well, my first one actually was the USS Prairie. It was a destroyer tender, had wooden decks. It was pre-World War II.
Pre-World War II.
Like I said, wooden decks, just like the Alabama, same deck, teak wood deck. Yeah. Then from there, I went to the USS King. It was a guided missile destroyer leader. That's the one I went to Vietnam on. Came back, went to the USS Buchanan, which was a guided missile destroyer. Then that's when that's when I became a Navy recruiter. Biggest mistake I ever made.
How long were you doing that?
Girl, let me tell you something. Trying to talk people into going into the Navy. But I did a pretty good job of it, though. I survived.
How long were you a recruiter?
3-4 years.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually got an extra year. But And then I went back to the Wabash, which was a AOR. It carried fuel. We carried 11 million gallons of. We carried 11 million gallons of regular fuel, because at that time most of the carriers were still conventional powered. So we carried that. We carried jet fuel. We carried 500 pounds. You get up in the morning, walk outside, and as far as you can see down the deck, there's crates, 4 to a crate, 500-pound bombs, and they're lined up. Whoa. Down.
Whoa. With all the fuel and everything.
Yeah, we got fuel, we got bombs, we got rockets, we got missiles. Anything they could use, we had. Jet engines, we send them, we give you all the food you wanted. We could give you anything you needed. And I used to always wonder, I used to always say, well, dang, how come we're always by ourselves? We're always, the battle group's over there, there's a battle group over there, but we're always by ourselves. Then I thought about it, man, if you blow up, you're gonna make a big hole in the ocean.
Right, yeah, that's why they didn't want to be there.
Exactly.
Wow.
But that was the one ship I was on when I got hit by an aircraft carrier.
What?
Yeah, the Kitty Hawk hit us.
Oh.
We were fueling them, and they made a turn. We got too close, so we were gonna do a slight pull away. They made a hard left. When they made their hard left, their elevator came over on our ship, cut our fuel line, so there's fuel going everywhere. Cables are snapping. There's a dent in the side of the ship. And then they come back and says, okay, we need some more. So you want to do this again? We're like, you're crazy.
Whoa. When was that?
That was in, let's see, I went to Wabash in 81. I left there, that was in 80. That was in 1982. That was in 1982. That was also the same year that I saw the Enterprise run aground in San Francisco Bay.
Whoa.
They were coming back from deployment. Came in, we're sitting there, we're looking. Here's all these admirals, the mayor of San Francisco, all these families. And all of a sudden, this thing just leaned over to one side. Like, whoa. That ain't supposed to be happening. So they had ran aground in San Francisco Bay.
Oh, man.
They took 8 tugboats. But the bad part was the captain had made admiral. When he got the ship to the pier, he was no longer an admiral. He was no longer the commanding officer of the ship either.
Oh.
Yeah. But you know, I've been noticing a lot though, and I've been talking to some of my buddies, I'm like, something's going on. It's really crazy. Because the Navy is relieving more COs here. I know 6 here probably in the last 6 months. And I mean, all the time I spent in the Navy, all of 20 years, I never seen that many COs are relieved.
I wonder why they're being relieved.
I'm wondering how you get your commands. Because if they're relieving you and saying that they're relieving you because of loss of confidence in your ability to command, how did you get there?
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. Crazy.
How long were you in the Navy?
20 years, 6 months, and 2 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And where were you when you left?
When I left San Diego, 32nd Street Naval Station.
Okay.
Started my first ship there. My last one was there. Wow. And I left there.
That's pretty unusual, I guess.
But you know what crazy was? Now, when I was in the Navy, they gave me orders to 3 aircraft carriers. I got out of all those orders because I know once they get you on one carrier, they just keep sending you to them, and I didn't want that. First job I had when I got out the Navy, working on aircraft carriers.
You couldn't get away.
Couldn't get away. I had a job, I was working for this company called AMSEC, American Systems Engineering Corporation, and we did material assessment and training on aircraft carriers. Them things, we were chasing them all over the world. I mean, you'd be on a Friday, I'd be at home and get a phone call. Hey, go to the airport, we got a ticket. You got to go to Saudi Arabia and catch this ship. Like, you crazy. We driving out through the desert. The only reason we could find the ship because we could see it over the sand dunes.
Wow. How long did you have that job?
I had that job about 2 years. Because I was in Japan. Actually, I was in Japan every 6 months working on a different carrier. They would fly us over there every 6 months. So we'd do that. But my thing was, why are we doing this? We're civilians. You're in the Navy. You have senior personnel who are supposed to train their people. So why are you spending this money paying a civilian company to do what you're already supposed to be doing?
I wonder if that was when that type of thing started happening, where they started using a lot more civilians?
Well, if you ever notice any air, especially an aircraft carrier and these nukes, anytime you see a nuke carrier hit the pier, there's 2,500, 3,000 civilians out there waiting to go to work, because those sailors on those carriers will tear up their machinery. They don't care about fixing it because they got another one. They'll tear them up, and then civilians will go fix them. They'll go out to sea and tear them up.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than what you were talking about.
It's a lot different. You don't care about your equipment. We took pride in it. I never wanted to be, I seen ships get towed in. We never wanted to be towed in because, man, they would have that all over the waterfront. Everybody in the Navy know you got towed in. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would, sure. But nah.
Did you enjoy meeting a lot of people from when you were in the Navy, and the people you worked with and people you met?
Yes, I did. Yes, I can. I met, let's see. Well, that was, growing up in Oakland, now I grew up in one of them little diverse little areas in town. We had Filipinos, we had Japanese, Chinese, you name it, they lived there. So when I got in the Navy, you know, I seen all these people and I'm used to talking to them and seeing them. But when you start meeting them meeting a Filipino in Oakland, California, is different meeting one that came from the Philippines. So I got to meet a lot of them. And then when I was overseas, when I did deploy, I enjoyed meeting those people because, hey, I was really interested in what was going on in their cultures.
Yeah. And
so I really enjoyed that. And like I said, I know I'll never see these things again. Because I can't afford that kind of money. But I tell you what, my most favorite place, Australia.
Oh.
I love Australia. I got a cousin who lives there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, how long were you there?
I was there a week. I've been there twice. I was there a week each time. New Zealand, about 3 days. I went to Mauritius, off the coast of Africa. I was there for 4 days. What I did find out was the people that live in Mauritius originally came from Diego Garcia. Oh. They lived there because that's a coconut plantation down there. And those people lived there. Well, when the British came there and took over those islands, and they moved these people to Mauritius. So if you go to Mauritius and you got something on one of your t-shirts that says Diego Garcia, they get offended.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They get real offended. And then Mauritius, they have a lot of Muslims there. That was the first time, I don't know, the guy that when the bees up in the tower and stuff and screaming. The first time I heard that, we were like, what the heck is this? You know, and everybody stops and they kneel down and start praying. And we're like, what the? So, but yeah, I loved Hong Kong. Taiwan. I love Taiwan. Yeah, I'm a young sailor, so yeah. Taiwan, Thailand, Korea, Japan, Yokosuka, Japan, Sasebo, Japan.
Wow,
Panama, Puerto Rico. Let's see, where else did we? I know we did go one place one time. We were in the South Pacific. We were cruising down through there because we never patrol in commercial zones. We're always outside. We actually went through this one area and we actually saw a volcano coming up out of the ocean.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
thing was still, and it was growing. So I did get to see that. Yeah.
Wow, you got to see so many cool places.
I have seen some places. I've had some great times. The Australians, they love us because they just want to sit down and talk to us. First time I ever had a horse burger.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey, don't knock it till you try it.
Where in Australia were you?
I was in Perth and Fremantle.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On the west?
On the west side.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And where in New Zealand did you go?
Christchurch.
Christchurch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a buddy of mine married a girl from New Zealand. He was supposed to be coming back to the States to go to school. He left the ship, flew to Christchurch, New Zealand, married this girl. When we came back off of deployment from Vietnam, he was standing over the pier. And about a month later, this girl shows up from New Zealand. So we're like, okay, we know where you went. That was girl, I could tell you some stories about these guys, some of the stuff. But let's see, where else? Yeah.
You went to Indonesia. Did you go to Malaysia?
No, I didn't go to Malaysia. I went to a place called Dumaguete.
Where's that?
It's in the Philippines. It's another little island called Dumaguete. They got a university there, and they have banana plantations there. Matter of fact, one of the guys that I was in the Navy with, he bought a banana plantation. Wow. When he retired from the Navy, he moved back to the Philippines to raise bananas.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yeah, I got one of the guys I knew, he bought a restaurant and a bar in Subic Bay, and he's still there.
Wow.
Yeah. Shucks. Let's see, how many? Heck, I've been to Alaska, Canada. Shucks, almost froze to death in Canada.
Like way up north?
We were in the engine room and had to have on pea coats. It was that cold. Inside. It's normally 120 degrees down there. We were down there in pea coats.
Whoa.
We were freezing, you know, because normally when you're on the ship and you're out at sea, you have sweepers. So every day you sweep down the ship, get all the shucks. When you go up there, you out there with sledgehammers breaking ice.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I've seen.
How long were you there?
We were up there for about a month.
I bet you couldn't wait to
just
leave.
up there patrolling the Gulf of Alaska. you wouldn't believe the stuff that you have to go through just to be in. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I mean, from the time you come back off deployment, when you get back, you got 30 days downtime. After that 30 days, you start working up and doing inspections. You've got like 30-something inspections you have to go through. All these workup, gunnery exercises, everything get all worked up so you get ready to deploy again. But see, in the early days when we were there, you might come in now and you might be gone in 6 months. You might be gone in 3 months. You could be on your way back home, because a lot of times we left the gun line in Vietnam on our way back to port. We had to turn around and go back because the ship that relieved us got hit. Yeah.
When you were in Vietnam, where was your ship located?
We were at North Vietnam, off the coast of North Vietnam. We call it North SAR because we were there for search air rescue. And we were there also for gunfire support. Our gun would shoot 23 miles.
Wow.
Most times we were shooting white phosphorus, because we were burning stuff, or high explosives. We would find, like the Vietnamese, what they would do is they take rice and they build big pallets of it and float it in to the North Vietnamese. We'd shoot it up, sink it. I was there when we rescued some pilots, and Vietnamese were down there in boats and everything, and you could hear this helicopter. It was called a Big Mama. But anyway, this thing had like 12,000 rounds of bullets in it, and it has a minigun. And they went to get this pilot, and you could hear they were playing it over the ship's speakers, so you could hear this guy in there just shooting. And the only thing you heard was, "Did you get the pilot? You got the pilot?" And it says, "Yeah, we got the pilot." It says, "Do you have any confirmed kills? Any confirmed kills?" He says, "I don't know about confirmed kills, but there's a whole lot of dead people down there."
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So you had to, like, your ship went
Yeah,
around that area?
up and down the coast.
Okay.
And we actually went into Da Nang Harbor.
Okay.
We had an incoming rocket attack while we were in there. But that's all we did, up and down. Gunfire support, gunfire support. That was it. That's what we did.
What did you ever get to, like, get off the ship
In Vietnam?
in Vietnam?
No.
No, you stayed on the ship.
We stayed on
Okay.
ship, but like I said, we actually went into Da Nang Harbor.
Okay.
And while we were in there, because we went in to get our mail, so, you know, Navy's got a base, and the base, Army's got a base right in there. And so that thing was always getting shelled and shot at by the North Vietnamese. And we just happened to be in there one day when they were shooting. Yeah.
Wow. So you had to. So you were shooting back.
Oh, yeah, we were shooting back.
Wow.
We were shooting back because we had, those ships, we had a 5-inch gun on the front. We had missile launchers on the back. And on the sides, we had 50, what we call 3-inch 50s, 3-inch guns on each side. And then we had an ASROC launcher, anti-submarine rocket launcher, on the front. And we had torpedo tubes on both sides. But we actually got to shoot down a MiG.
Whoa.
Yeah, we
Good.
did. That was in October. We were just getting into the South China Sea, and we shot down a MiG. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, but see, like I said, we were young. When I went to Vietnam, I was 19. I'm like, hey, this was great. Hey, I'm on deployment. I'm not thinking that, hey, these people are out here shooting at us and all this. That had no thought in my mind. My only thought was go down here, stand my watch, go up, eat, go to bed. I didn't think about that. Even when they were shooting at us, I didn't even think about it.
You just did what you had to do.
Just did what, it was just a job. You guys shoot them, I'll make sure you get there. Yeah. Now, when it was time to come home, I had all the friends in the world. You need anything? What can we do to help you? They want to make sure that engineering plant was running so we could get home. Yeah.
Wow. So when you left Vietnam, where did you go? Did you go back to San Diego?
Back to San Diego. We were in port for 30 days. And after that 30 days, we started operating. And we operated all the way till May of '74. We were underway every week. We were underway every week.
So you went
out to sea every week. Every week. Had to get it done. We didn't ask questions, we just did it. We just did it. Yeah.
How do you think that your experience in Vietnam, how do you think it affected you in your life?
Well, I think Vietnam, I think I learned a lot of patience. I did. I think I became a patient person because I just settled down in my life. I just I'd say, yeah, well, like I said, patience. It made me think I can do anything because I had to. You know, I learned how to do so much that I'm ambitious, definitely dedicated. Definitely that made me a dedicated person to whatever I'm doing. I'm dedicated to that. It discipline. I guess dealing with, because dealing with younger sailors and stuff like that, it taught me a lot about dealing, you know, I guess really dealing with my children even much. Because the guys that I work with, they were, I guess I call them strict, by the book. Well, that's the way I became strict. I wasn't strict, but because I'm the nicest guy in the world, but I'm by the book. I don't care for foolishness. Crazy conversations, stuff. I'm just not up for it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I'm one of the happiest, go-luckiest guys you'll ever meet. Nothing bothers me like that. I like people. That's one of the big things I gained was people. I mean, I learned, I guess, trust, a lot of trust, because we had to trust each other. And even a lot of these guys that I served with, I trusted them enough that, heck, I even let them babysit my kids. I did. My kids still know these guys. But my life-wise, I don't think that I would have been the person that I am today had I not spent that time there, had not dealt with those situations, dealt with those people. I guess I can say I'm just a blessed guy all the way around. I really am. I'm a blessed guy.
That's wonderful.
I am. I think about it, like I said, I'm still here. I'm still here. I got pretty decent health. So I think, good, the good Lord done looked down on me, done me well. Done me well. Yeah, he has. Yeah. But I tell you what, I'd do this again in a heartbeat.
Really? Wow.
I would. I'd go back. If they let me out there right now, I'd be out there. But they kicked me out because I'm not going to go for that garbage. They would. They kicked me out because I'm going to get them young sailors, I'm going to give them grief. I'm going to give them grief. I'm telling you, girl.
You're going to take that.
Look, I knew the first female boiler technician in the Navy. The very first one. I knew her. That girl would work any sailor under them. She'd work them to death. The girl was good. But she was a sailor. I mean, she was a sailor like us. That girl was rough. She married one of my guys that worked for me. She married him. That girl was, whew, I've seen them. I was there when females first got on ships. I seen them in the engine rooms. I watched this little girl, she was working. And I heard this bam, 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 bam. Like, what is this? This little girl done fell from the top of the engine room. She fell off the steam pipes. She bounced on the pumps, fell off the pumps, fell down between the pumps, landed on the pumps down below, got up, and went back up there. She sure did.
Wow.
They got that thing, right now, if you look, they got that commercial going on about the firefighting foam. You might have seen it on TV, they're talking about the firefighting foam if you went through boot camp. Well, when we were in the Navy, they told us, if the ship goes down, grab a can of this foam because it's nothing but animal bones and animal blood. But when you mix it with water under high pressure, it makes firefighting foam. But they said take it with you because if you get hungry, you can drink this stuff. Oh. Now this is what the Navy was teaching us now. And we're fighting, we practice with this stuff and all this. Well, we didn't know the stuff causes cancer. Here's this little girl, she's standing there. They got this 100-gallon tank that holds this firefighting foam. Her job, keep this tank full at all times. They fired that thing up by accident, and this thing started producing foam. Well, the foam was coming all out of the top. She's going to man her station. She got her can of foam. She is covered up in foam. We can't even find her. But she's in there. Like, I'm telling you, I have seen it. I saw an ammunition ship fully loaded on fire. And they're walking right past the fire.
Whoa. Where was that?
In Vallejo, California. Because all the ammunition ships are stationed up there. So they're all in there tied up together. This ship is full of ammo. And there's a fire. Because we're doing a training session. And there's a fire. And here comes this little sailor. He comes diddy-bopping around the corner. And we're like, son, you smell that? He's like, yeah. Say, well, what are you going to do about it? Meanwhile, the captain is having captain's call on the fantail, so the crew is back there. And this kid is, all of a sudden, we finally hear him sound the alarm. I'm like, okay, what are y'all gonna do about this? So the guy that's supposed to be in charge of firefighting on the ship, he runs out there. What's he do? He opens the door, lets air in there.
Oh no.
Well, needless to say, they flunked the exam.
Oh my God.
Hey, you would not believe the thing. They tell you, you performed the way you trained. I watched the chief engineer of the ship run down in the engine room while there's a fire going on with a breathing apparatus on, but he didn't bother to pull the pin to activate the thing. They had to go down there and get him. Oh, I'll tell you, I got some story. I can tell you about some of the stuff that goes on out here. It's crazy, but it happens. It happens. It happens.
Wow. When you were out there in being deployed, and you traveled everywhere, all over the world, you said you did stay in contact with some people?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You talking about the guys in the Navy, the guys overseas, the guys in the Navy?
Yeah, in the Navy.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Well, I got TC. Me and him, we made chief together. He's in California. He was stationed in Hawaii. He just got back, and he's dying to move back to Hawaii. I'm like, man, that woman ain't letting you go there. And then there's Byron Jackson. Now that boy there, he was my nightmare child. I met that boy when he was 20 years old. Okay, his brother, matter of fact, if you know anything about football, his younger brother is Keith Jackson. Played for Miami, Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia. Anyway, that's his younger brother. So I knew him, his mom, sister. But I met that boy when he was 20 years old. That boy is 61 years old now, and he's still a pain. I talk to him every day. Have to.
Well, that's cool that you know them.
I talk to that boy every day. The other guy, Mickey, he's up in Ohio working for the post office. There's Lee Wayne, he's down in Slidell now. He used to live up in Millbrook. Guy Lindstrom, Roger Lindstrom. Now this guy had a guy named Roger Lindstrom. The guy was a computer genius. For some reason he wanted to be a boiler technician. But this boy could not figure out left and right to save his life. If you told him to tighten something up, he'd start tightening it up, and if you started talking to him, next thing you know, he done took it back loose. His mom and dad bought him a Jeep, 4-wheel drive, beautiful, brand new. Lindstrom going down the freeway doing 70 miles an hour decided to put this thing in 4-wheel drive. There were parts everywhere. And then I had this little skinny guy's name was Kelly. Kelly was he looked like, if you watch some of those little horror movies they have on, he's a little, skinny, eyes sunk in, great guy, great. Could send him down to the smallest places in the engine room. He'd go down and he would come up on the other side of the engine room where he done crawled around.
Whoa.
My kids loved him though. My kids loved Kelly. He was, yep. But yeah, I keep up with most of them, and I still keep up with my division officers. Yeah. I had one division officer, he actually made captain. He was commanding officer of a cruiser and all that. So I keep up with him, his kids. I remember we lost this little boy in San Diego Bay one day. We're fishing, and we just told him, said, look, you stay back. We're fishing. All of a sudden we look over, it's like, where is he? And we looked like, oh, shucks. So there's about 10 of us. We all dive in the bay, and we're holding him out of the water Because it's like, man, you ain't nowhere in the world. You can go home and tell her you lost this boy.
That's for sure.
Yeah. But I keep up with all those guys, and matter of fact, one of the guys over there, he's a minister. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a minister, and I'm like, man, I can't believe this.
He must have been a lot different when he was in.
Yeah, we were young. We were young. I'm telling you what. Look, the thing, when you get older, you think back to some of the things you did when you were young, and you just know, you start thinking, like, you know what? That was really stupid. What were we thinking? And I tell all young folks, you got things to do, do them. Prioritize what you got to do and get it done. You think, well, all young folks got this idea that, hey, you got time. You're always thinking, you got time, you got time. Them years will pile on you so fast, you won't realize where time went, and you ain't accomplished nothing. Do something with yourself. Now, I can really say, like I said, when I say I was blessed, now my girls, they all had their kids, they were married, had their kids, and they all went back to college. They got master's degrees and got good jobs. I wish I had that kind of money, but they make good money and they're doing great. They own their own houses. They're doing good. They're doing good. That's why I said, like I said, my grandkids, each one of them got a college degree. Now they ain't doing nothing with them, but they got them. I'm always like, you got a degree in what and you're doing what? Like, what was the use of this? You'll find it. You got kids, right?
Mm-mm.
You ain't got none?
No.
Well, girl.
But I know lots of people who do, and I know they've had similar problems with their kids.
But see, people nowadays, when you got kids nowadays, you got to remember, you're a parent. Be a parent. Don't try to be their friends. Forget that. There ain't no friendships. None. I'm not your friend.
Right.
Okay.
Parent.
And even today, like I said, today's my son's birthday. He's 52 years old.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And I let him know, son, you 52, you're a grown man. You've been grown a long time, but I'm still your father. And I will take you out the game if I have to. I don't go that route. Okay? I am who I am, and they know. I don't play with them. I do not play with kids. And you a kid, as long as I'm alive, you a kid.
What do you think was the best part of your service experience?
The best part? Well, I could say meeting all the guys. But I think, well, other than meeting the guys, my best part was just going on a ship and just taking pride in what you're doing. Okay? To me, the best feeling in the world, have all boilers on the line, have the throttles full open, and watching it go to the back of the ship and just watch the water come up out of the water. That's when you know you're doing your job. And that's what you're happy about. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to say about your service?
Girl, I done ran my mouth so much, you know.
It's interesting.
I have ran my mouth so much, but like I said, I could tell you things about just, like the time we shot a torpedo and it came out of the water. The time we shot a missile and it went out there so far and turned around and came back at
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had, like I said, talked about fires. I've seen pumps explode. I've had, like, the steam that we produced is 1,275 psi, 975 degrees. You can't see it, but you can hear it. And this steam is so hot and it's under such pressure that when you hear a leak, you pick up a broom and you take a broom and stick it out in front of you. And when you find that leak, you'll see that it'll cut that broom right off. Same thing it'll do to you. If you stuck your hand up here, it would cut your hand off, but meanwhile, it would cauterize that wound at the same time. I burned all the skin. That's what these are. I burned all the skin from here to here off of this arm twice in less than 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just now,
Wow.
This right here, when this first started, it went from here to here.
Oh my
This is a
God.
burn mark. And that was from opening a steam valve, because you had to reach and open it, and it was a steam line. So your arm is constantly doing this. Had to get the job done.
My God. Whoa.
Yeah, had to get the job
It's
done.
a dangerous job then you had.
Well, 1,200-pound plants in that time when we had them, we called them man killers. Because every time you heard about a boiler blowing up, it was a 1,200-pound plant. Those plants were dangerous. And we just took pride in making it run. Make it run. That was all we wanted to do. Make it run. Now, we might talk about the ship and say whatever we wanted to say, but don't you say nothing about this ship, because the fight is on. Shoot, we fought one day in Hong Kong. We fought from downtown Hong Kong all the way to Hong Kong Bay.
Really? Like real, all these people were fighting out
Fist
in the
fight
street?
in the streets.
I guess the cops showed up and
Yeah, they showed up, but
eventually.
but we fought all the way down to the bay, because you shouldn't have said that about our ship. And if you fought one guy, you fought all 375 of us.
Wow. So yeah, your military service really did impact your whole way of thinking.
It is, and like I said, I like people. I'm a people. That's the only reason I came back to work. I retired in 2016 after working 50 years, and I couldn't take it. I had to come back to work because I have to see people. And the people at the Cancer Institute, that's my family. I know their children. I know their problems. I know when they feel good. I know when they feel bad. When they want something, we get talking about food, and they want something that they haven't had in a long time, I go home and cook it for them. Bring it to them. Yeah, I go to Arkansas and catch fish. I bring them fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got good people. I got good people over there.
And you enjoy it. And
I
I know
enjoy
they
it.
enjoy being around
I
you too.
love those folks. My wife told me she said, that's your job. That's where you need to be.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And I miss it. I miss it. When I go, I know a lot of times when I go on vacation or take a day off, I have to tell them that I'm gonna take, hey, look, next Friday I'm gonna be gone now. Where are you going? I'm going such and such. You coming back? Yes, ma'am, I'll be back. All right. And they let me know.
You can go now.
And they let me know. I was here last Friday. You weren't here. I told you I was going out of town. I'll be back.
That's great.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm telling you, I really wish, you know, and then my son, like I said, my son, he's a retired Marine. My stepson, he spent 9 years in the Marines. And them two boys there, I look at them and I be like, something wrong with y'all. It's something wrong. They did something to y'all, seriously, because y'all crazy.
What message would you like anyone who is listening to this or future generations to, what do you think that they would want to hear, or what do you want to tell them about being in the military and your experiences?
Only thing I can tell you is this: if you want to see the world and want to do it cheaply, join the Navy. They ain't kidding you, because you will see the world. And do it, if you ain't got no other reason to do it just so you can say, I did it. Yes. Because I take pride, I'll let you know in a minute, I love it. I'll do it again.
Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to share your experiences with us. It was really an honor to talk to you. Thank you.
Hey, it was my pleasure, and I will definitely be looking to see you somewhere around here, because I'm always around here somewhere. And if any young person want to talk about the military, come see me. I still got my cruise books. And when you see them pictures of them girls in Subic Bay, you'll want to go.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.